What's going on, web heads, and welcome to day 21 of Spider Pop's 25 Days of Christmas, Season 4. And today, we're swinging right back into the 3D printing world of Spider Pop Industries. So, as you guys all know, if you guys have seen our last 3D printing video, we did actually recently complete our brand new Lego Spider-Man helmet. And now that this helmet is done, I thought it was just about time to bring you guys my very own Spider Pop's review on our 3D fabricator, the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. That's right, we are going to be reviewing the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro today. That is the 3D fabricator that we have been using over the past few months. And now that we do have a few prints under our belt, I'm going to be going over a few of the things that we have managed to print on this Flashforge 3D printer in the time that we've had it, as well as a lot of things I like about the printer, and some issues that I have had with our 3D printer over the course of these past few months that we've had it. So I am wicked excited to get into today's wicked exciting Spider Pop's review. It is sure to be a wicked exciting review video. We're going to be showing off some really awesome 3D printed products that you definitely don't want to miss out on, so make sure you guys stick around till the end. Alrighty, and like I said, we will be reviewing our current 3D printer that we do have in the Spider Pop Industries arsenal, and that is going to be the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. Now, I have had a whole lot of fun with this machine in the time that I have had it. It is actually my first 3D printer that I have ever owned, and it was an incredibly pricey investment. When I did actually get the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro, it was going for around $800, I want to say I paid for it, give or take. But at the time of getting it, I was on a pretty hefty Peter Parker budget. So I did have a whole lot of Funko Pops that I wasn't currently displaying. As you guys know, if you guys have been with the Spider Pops channel since the very beginning, I did start off collecting pretty much every single kind of Funko Pop that I thought was cool. Every single TV show that I thought was neat, I would get a Funko Pop from it. If I saw a Funko Pop in the store that I thought was going to be cool one day, I would grab that Funko Pop and add it to the collection. So with that mindset, I ended up building up a really hefty Funko Pop collection. As you guys know, if you guys saw the collection tour, our Spider-Man Funko Pops in general do take up a large chunk of the collection. So at a certain point, I did just want to trim it down to mainly just our Spider-Man and just a few Marvel Funko Pops here and there. So I did actually sell a huge chunk of my Funko Pop collection to be able to afford our Spider Pops 3D fabricator. So with my thinking, I was basically just trading in Funko Pops that I didn't really need anymore for a 3D printer that I can use to make wicked webtastic stuff and show it off to you guys for years to come. So in my mind, I do believe it was worth the investment. I have had a ton of fun using this 3D printer. You guys already saw our Lego Spider-Man helmet that we have been making over the past couple 3D printing videos. But throughout the time that we've had it, I've been able to mess around and make a couple really cool things, including we do have a Spider-Man cat helmet for me and Miss Spider Pops' cat Penelope. And let me tell you, every time she wears this mask, she is absolutely stoked. But as you guys can see right there, this Spider-Man mask was completely 3D printed on the Spider Pops fabricator. You guys can see the detail that it was actually able to print right there. This Spider-Man cat mask was actually printed in PLA, so the Adventurer 4 Pro didn't really have a difficult time printing this one. I believe I just did have to print a couple of these because I did get the sizing wrong on the first one that I did make. This one is actually a little bit too big for Penelope, but it still works. And it's something I am actually currently in the process of getting to be the right size so it actually fits. Miss Spider Pops and I's doggo Sky did get a little bit jelly of Penelope's Spider-Man helmet, so we did have to make a doggo size Spider-Man mask for Sky as well. You can see this one is actually unpainted. This is what it looks like fresh off of the printer. And as you guys can see, on the outside at least, the detail on the mask is pretty insane. I am really happy with how these masks actually do print on the printer, at least in PLA. I haven't tried it out in PETG, but if I were to guess, based on my experiences with PETG with the Spider Pops Lego helmet, it would probably be a nightmare. So probably won't be trying that out anytime soon. But as you guys can see, even with the PLA, We do have a little bit of issues on the inside, some of them that can be solved with supports, but that is where we're going to start getting into some of the issues of the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro, and the main one being the actual slicer software that you do have to use when you are printing with the Adventurer 4 Pro. Now personally, as you guys know, I am a bit new to 3D printing, but in my experiences so far, I have just had nothing but difficulties with the Flash print slicing software. It's honestly been a nightmare. My mom actually does have a Bamboo Labs P1P 3D printer, which is actually a little bit less expensive than the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro, and based on what I've seen, does actually print a lot better than the current SpiderPop's 3D printer. So I do just have a lot of frustrations with the Flash print slicing software. If ever a print does need supports and you put supports on it, I have like about a 90% chance that at least 3 or 4 of those supports are going to break off mid-print, because the design supports that Flash print does actually print are just these really brittle stick-like posts that really can't hold any support at all. And even during the printing process of our Spider-Man Lego helmet, you can see that is where we ran into a few problems as well, because you can see right there we do have a ding in both of the actual eyes, and I did actually put supports in the actual slicing software, but both of the supports did break off nearing the end of when it was actually starting to print, which made the supports absolutely useless to be there in the first place. It is pretty frustrating, especially with how difficult it is to actually use other slicing softwares with the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. It is something that I've messed with briefly, but as I've said, I'm really new to 3D printing, so it is incredibly frustrating to finally learn how to use the Flash print slicing software, and then finding out that there's a lot of things that the software does wrong and that you should basically switch to a new slicing software. So at some point within this next year, I'm probably just going to end up learning how to use a brand new slicing software. That way we can actually use this 3D printer to its fullest potential, because as of right now, the Flash print 3D service from Flashforge is pretty terrible. I'm sure Flashforge would be able to fix it if they took the time to actually troubleshoot the issues in the software, but now that they've already come out with a brand new 3D printer, I very much doubt they're really going to put much troubleshooting into this Adventurer 4 Pro. But
you abandoned me!
A bit of a bummer. It is really upsetting sometimes when you're 8 hours into a print already and the supports just fall off for no good reason and you're unable to really do anything about it. There are just a few other minor things that I have had issues with it along the way. As you guys know, printing PETG on the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro is an absolute nightmare. My mom, as I said, has a Bamboo Labs P1P, and throughout the whole time I was struggling printing PETG with the Spider-Man Lego mask. My mom was making perfect fence posts for Halloween decorations out of PETG on the Bamboo P1P after changing like 1 or 2 settings straight out of the box. So the amount of times I had to spend tinkering with the settings in the actual slicing software and on my 3D printer in general was incredibly frustrating, especially spending so much money on a 3D printer such as the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. So the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro also does come with 2 different nozzles for printing PLA and PETG. So switching to the higher temperature nozzle for PETG, that was also a struggle that I did have to deal with, because I followed the instructions to a T when I put the higher temperature extruder in, and literally as soon as I started printing something, the whole extruder fell out mid-print, and that's just something that shouldn't happen with something I spent $800 on. But a few second-degree burns later, we were able to get the higher temp extruder in, and at this point, I'm honestly a little bit scared to even change the extruder back to the PLA extruder, so I have currently been printing PLA out of the higher temperature extruder because it can go down to the lower temperatures required for PLA. So like I said, just incredibly frustrating for something that I did spend a lot of money on. A large chunk of the SpiderPops collection did go into funding, and it's just honestly a little bit of a bummer, but it is not the end of the world, because I know we have what it takes to figure it out and make it work, especially with the new year coming up after 25 days of Christmas. Like I said, I am probably just going to end up switching to a different slicer and trying to get it to work that way. And then maybe at some point I might just end up investing in a Bamboo Labs P1P so I can actually get quality, consistent prints every time. And although I feel like I did say a lot of negative things about the 3D printer, I do really like this 3D printer. It is a completely enclosed 3D printer, so as my knowledge expands in the 3D printing world, with this 3D printer I will be able to print higher temperature filaments that you wouldn't be able to print without an enclosure once I actually do figure out to use it to its full capabilities. Because as you guys can see, it's got potential right there. You can see we do have a very tiny Spider-Man face shell right there. It does fit perfectly on Pumpkin the guinea pig. But you can see this printer has what it takes to be great. You can see there are a lot of really good parts of the 3D print. You can see it is a really solid piece. This 3D printer does absolutely have the potential to be a really awesome 3D printer. We just have to find it within our Spidey selves to be able to unlock it.
Also, I almost forgot to mention, our next project we have right here, we were actually able to print out a Spider-Man face shell off of Thingiverse, but not just any Spider-Man face shell, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 face shell. So it was a pretty cool file. I was actually able to...
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better.
Vacuum form the lenses on there, and that is why we do get those cool dome lenses. But as you guys can see right there, we do have a little bit of work making these more secure. As you can see, it's only really held on by 3 magnets right there, but definitely a work in progress and something I'm looking forward to working on a little bit more within this next year. But sorry for that cutaway. I didn't want you guys to miss out on this because I did completely forget to mention it in today's video. It's going to be really awesome when it's done, but let's get back to today's video.
But with all that being said, that is pretty much all we have to go over with the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. If Flashforge for some reason does ever watch this video, I do hope they know they do have a lot of things to improve on with the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro and Flash Print software-wise, and I do hope that they are able to fix that in the future months. But with all of that being said, that is pretty much all we have to go over with our Spider Pops review on the Flashforge Adventurer 4 Pro. Like I said, it is a really awesome printer with a whole lot of really awesome potential. It just has a few things that Flashforge needs to fix to bring it to that next level. So that is pretty much going to do it for today's Day 21 video of Spider Pop's 25 Days of Christmas, Season 4. Christmas time is right around the corner, only 4 days away now. I really hope you guys are enjoying the holidays with all of your loved ones and family. And with all that, I hope to see you all bright and early for tomorrow's Day 22 video of Spider Pop's 25 Days of Christmas. And make sure you guys are staying safe out there, staying frosty and having fun, of course. Have an amazing rest of your day, webheads. Bye-bye.
Just like flies, look out. Here comes the Spider-Man.
Come on. Come on. Yeah, got it. What's going on, webheads? Welcome to this episode of Why Is My Camera So Blurry? Tune in next week.